So I want to talk about my tattoo horror stories. I have 6 tattoos right now, planning to get 4 more. Eyebrow, Isis, I have a quote, my inner arms. This is one of the horror stories. And I have a peony, that's the other horror story. I'm going to get another script tattoo here this Saturday. It's a quote. I'm going to get 2 tattoos on my inner arm. I do the quote, and I'm going to get an onk here, and that's what I planned. I just want to go through my horror stories. So we're going to start with the one on the bottom. I know you can't see it that well. It's a peony. That's from here to like here. So this is my first tattoo. I got it in 2013, a decade ago. So I walk in, whatever, and I go to the back room with the tattoo artist, and there's like a curtain. He closed it, and he was like, get undressed. So I was like, what? You know what I mean? So I was like, given the placement, guys, from here to here, I understood that like my underwear couldn't be on, but he wasn't talking about giving me like a covering or something like that. Like I wasn't sure how he was going to go about it. As the artist, I thought he was going to tell me. And he was like, take your underwear off. What's your question for me? And I hesitated because I was like, I knew nothing about tattoos. I had never been inside of a tattoo shop. Like I knew less than nothing. I had met with him the previous week just to show him the design. And then I made the appointment for the following Saturday. But I was just like, that can't be normal. But he wasn't budging. And he seemed to be getting like annoyed. Like his demeanor was like, I don't have you out in the middle of the shop. Like we're in the back with the curtain closed. Like what is the issue? And then he was like, I did say, so like I have to have my underwear off the whole time. He's like, yeah. He's like, how do you expect me to tattoo the area you're asking for, because you're asking for it to go up your hip bone and to go here. So how can I do that for you with your underwear on? I hesitated. I didn't really know what to do. He seemed to be getting frustrated. So I took my shorts and my underwear off and I laid down, obviously on the table to get tattooed, but I was obviously like very uncomfortable. I was very confused and I was like, this just doesn't make sense. So he finished, I left, whatever the fuck. But I called my friend at the time and I was like, is that normal? And he was like, no. Like he should have given you like this V-shaped covering. It's really thin and white. It's almost like paper. But he should have given it to you and you could have like stuck it over yourself so like your pussy's not out the whole fucking time. And it's like, yeah, he not only didn't do that, but he was like, I felt like he was frustrated almost and confused about why I was confused. And then my friend at the time was like, if nothing else, since you met with him last week to do the consultation and show him what you wanted, he knew the placement, he could have even told you to like bring like a bikini bottom and then you untie the string. But he's like, no, like that's not normal what he did to you. And he's like, it doesn't matter that you were in the back with the curtain closed. My friend at the time was like, Patty, that's worse, right? Like it's worse. Like you're not out in the open with your vajayjay out, but you are in a back room with this tattoo artist you don't know with the curtain closed, and it's like he's not giving you anything to cover yourself. And it's like, yeah, it was like the vibe was like so off. And of course he was white, the tattoo artist. If you're a black woman watching this who's gotten tattoos, I think you'd figure that out by now. So my friend at the time was like really upset, and he was like, you have to go back and complain about him. You have to talk to the shop owner. So I debated it, but then I was like, I'll go next week, because I was just like, I don't want to go back right now. I just fucking don't. Next week, the guy was no longer working there. I'm like 1,000%. So I went in and I asked for him by name, like his full name. And I was like, I came in last week and she was like, yeah, he doesn't work here anymore. So it was like a woman that was behind the counter that I hadn't seen the previous week. Jesus fucking Christ. And then it's like, I've told other artists about that. And they were just like, they looked at me just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we have coverings for sensitive areas. So they were like, for instance, some women will have their, like, they'll get their boobs tattooed. So we'll give them coverings. Like, you're not just out there like that. And it's like, the fucking was. Okay, let's get to the other horror story. I got this done a couple of months ago. And it was a white woman. I don't know if you're seeing a theme right now. So this was so bright when I got it done. It was supposed to be like the lavender behind me and it was lavender and pink. It was supposed to be really colorful because I like bright colors. And I just noticed it was hurting a lot more than the Eye of Ra. And I told the artist that. And she was like, okay. Like, she had no reaction. And I was like, yeah, but that's weird. It's like, same location. Why is it hurting so much more? I don't know. So it's like, there was no kind of conversation. So I know I have like a non-existent pain tolerance, but I had gotten this done last August. This was only a few months ago. And I'm like, no, like, right? It's the same part of the body. It's not a painful place to get. It's not like my fucking ribs or something. And I was like, there's no reason it should be feeling this different. So she started to say, like, it's just because there's more shading, there's more ink. So she was like, if you look at the Eye of Ra, it's not that way. It was really hurting, though. So I was like online, like trying to distract myself from the pain. And like, I was friends with one of the guys that worked with this woman. So we were talking about WWE and shit like that. But I was like, I'm uncomfortable. And I was like trying to not ask for a break or whatever the fuck. But I was like, I'm just getting to a point right now because I wasn't expecting it to hurt like this because Eye of Ra was just uncomfortable. But it was not like this fucking, I cried the whole time. And the guy was like so annoyed because he was like, you're not even getting like a design. It's not even ink. It's like, I have social anxiety. So it seems like a combination of me being a black woman with social anxiety. It's like not going so well for me in these tattoo shops. And I look young. Like I'm 41 and I've had some artists like think that I'm 17, think that I'm underage. I'm in New Jersey and they're like holding up my fucking driver's license to like make sure they see the holographic thing and all this shit. I just think like it kind of works against me. But as you can see, she went way too deep with the ink. A lot of times if you're black and you want a color tattoo, it is so difficult to find people that know how to do that. They're not trained in it. And a lot of them think because my skin tone is black that they have to go harder with the ink. And she went too hard. It fucked up the tattoo. This was all like bright pink and bright purple. It scabbed up so badly. And I kept texting the artist and asking her. She's like, it's normal, it's normal. So I finally reached out to her friend. And he's black, but like I made friends with him that day at the shop. So like, right, I didn't even know that he worked there, right? Because it was a walk-in only type of a shop or whatever the fuck. So I just walked in, I got my fucking tattoo. But we became friends. We're still friends. Like I talked to him, like still, and we're maybe gonna get together for SummerSlam. But he was like, she completely fucked your tattoo. You know, because I was like, I know it's your coworker, but he was like, how come I kind of never saw you again? And blah. And like, it looks like you got more tattoos on Instagram. And I'm like, you're never going to see me at that shop again because she completely fucked my tattoo. Why don't I sue? Why don't I this? Why don't I that? Because if you don't know this, you don't have tattoos. You sign a form when you go in. And basically, like, you're signing away a lot when you sign that form. But it's like, I can't prove that I took care of my tattoo properly. Right? It's not like I filmed myself putting on like Aquaphor and cleaning it with water. So it's difficult to kind of prove because the artist can just come back and say, well, I don't know that didn't happen just because Patricia didn't do the aftercare properly. So how do you kind of prove that? And then it's like the tattoo itself was only like $250. So it's like to actually sue somebody, like you're spending more money on like hiring a lawyer than you even spent on the fucking tattoo. So I'm just not gonna get color tattoos anymore. I was gonna get a watercolor phoenix under this, but like I said, I'm just gonna get an onk. Everything's just gonna be black from here on out. Everything else I wanted was actually black. I just wanted this side to be color, but it's a very common experience that black people have, that these artists are not trained how to do color tattoos on our skin, and there's this misbelief that they have to go harder with the ink to make it show because we're darkies and we're dark, so you have to go harder, and they fuck up our tattoos. So there's my horror stories. I just thought I would share them with you all. Let me know if any of you have horror stories from getting tattoos done.